Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it
video. So we are here once more at DECIBEL Sound Shop. We want to do one more video today. And today we are going to talk about a drive rack. Drive rack we are going to do probably in 3 or 4 phases or 4 classes because it has quite a lot. But today we are going to start up with the basic operations. Yeah, so come along. You remember this is our favorite shop, the DECIBEL Sounds. And here we are. So we are going to do this video with one of our colleagues here called Alex. He's right over here. So he'll be doing the cabling and I'll be demonstrating the operations. So come along. So this is the drive rack. It's called let me show you. So this is it. It's called the DBX, as you can see, and it's called the DBX PA Plus. Now they have a variety of this series. There's a PA, that is the oldest version for the DBX. Then they have the PA Plus. Then there's also the latest version. It's right over here. Alex is helping us. This one, it's called PA2. So the differences are not really as much. It's just a little additionals from one to the other. But today we are going to talk about the PA Plus. It's easy to use. This one, the differences, I'll show you some of the few differences. Apart from the signal inputs and the outputs right over here, this one has something called the USB input. So that means you can be able to connect it to your computer. It also has something called the Ethernet. This way you can connect your internet if you want to operate it via your computer. So the other ones, the PA and the PA Plus, only has the inputs and the outputs. It has no USB connection, so that means you cannot be able to use your computer. So normally what happens with a drive rack, so I'll tell you, Alex. So what happens with a drive rack? A drive rack is a unit that consists of so many processors in it, but under one machine. Okay, so normally when you are doing sound, like in our previous videos we've done equalizers, crossovers. We'll soon do a compressor, and all right. So as I was saying, we shall soon be doing a video for the compressor. So this component has all those processors in them. It has an equalizer right over here, as you can see. That's an equalizer. It has a crossover right over here. It has a feedback destroyer. It has a limiter or a compressor. Then these are the operations for this particular machine. It has a subharmonic, it has a delay, then there is the noise for the setup. So it has a display where you are able to set. It's a digital display, so whatever you choose you're able to control from the display. So let's assume you are doing an equalizer. So let's assume you are doing an equalizer. We are going to be able to do the equalizer from the help of this display. So the H that has been selected means the high frequency. Then there is an M right next to it, which means the mid-range frequency. Then there's an L, which means the low frequency. So you set them one by one. Assuming now we are going to be doing the highs, for example. These are the frequency range that we were talking about from our previous video. This is 20 Hertz all the way to 20 kilohertz. So if you notice this one, the drive rack might go a bit higher. So this is 20K. It's 20K. Normally from most equalizers we are going to be getting maybe 16 or 12, but there's some that goes up to 20K. So that is it. Now today I want us to do a very simple thing. Let's assume you've gone to the shop, you've bought your drive rack, and there are so many things that it has. So if you get it, how do you directly use it without doing so much setup, without touching so many buttons? What do you do? So the first thing that you're going to do is to put on your drive rack. So this is the on and off switch. So you put it on, then you're going to get a message here. It says DBX DRIVERACK PA, and then the version, it's 2.00. And then you're going to connect your cables now. So you connect your cables from the mixer. So today we are using a Yamaha MG16XU. So you get your mixer's output from the mixer. Alex, come sasa. From your mixer, then you put them directly into your inputs at the back of the drive rack. So there is input number 1, then there is input number 2. Then the outputs for the drive rack are normally into 3 segments. That's the low frequency. It has 2, the left and the right. It has a mid frequency, still the left and the right, and then there is a high frequency. So it depends with the speakers that you are using. Normally we use the mid frequencies and the low frequencies, but I'll show you all of them. So for now we can start with the mid frequency. So you're getting an output from the mid frequency, that's the right side. And then we can use the left side. Let's use the right side. Is it the right or the left? Yes, the left side of the low frequency. So today we are going to use the CA20 power amplifier. We already have our speakers cables already in, so we are only going to do the signals. Okay, so we are going to do input. That's the base or the low signal coming in. So this cable is running all the way to the sub speaker. Then we have the mid input. All right, so we have all our cables connected. So we come back here. So we have our cables running from the mixer into the input of the drive rack, and then output of the drive rack, like a crossover. It has 3 frequencies. That's the low, the mid, and the high. Today we are going to do the mid, and you're going to do the low. So there's an indicator right over here if you want to know the signals that you have input. So this is the first one. It's called the high frequency. You're going to see the signals. If we put in signals from our mixer, we're going to see indicators running here. They also have the frequency indicator, so you can be able to know the number of dBs that you are doing, running all the way from 30, that's minus 30, all the way to 0 dBs. Then we have the mid frequency right over here. Then we have the low frequency. Then these are the inputs. These are the input frequencies. Okay. So let's put in some music first, so we see if you have some signal. So we're going to control from our mixer. We make sure we have some signals coming out from the mixer. And we are going to show you a simple startup setup. Then into our next video we shall do a complex one where we shall cover the equalizers and the crossovers. So as you can hear, we already have a signal right over here. So we already have the signal. So once I select the volume from the mixer, you can be able to see the signals coming into your drive rack. Okay. So this is one side, then that is a low frequency. But now if you notice, our sub is not producing low frequencies. It's producing very shallow low frequencies that are sounding like mid. So there is a secret of maneuvering that, and this is where we are going to stop actually. So just put in your cables. Then there's something called program. This is where we are going to start program. So if you press this button over here, it lights up. Then now we are using stereo three-way. This is user number 1. I'll show you in our later videos how to convert. Now you can convert, or you can change the users to your own custom settings. But for today we are going to do the already set programs. So this program number 1, that is how it's supposed to sound. So if you want to know what user number 1 has, it has left, it has left, all these L's are for left, then all these R's right over the third row, all these are right. So this is high, so this is left high, this is left mid, then this is left low, then this is right high, right mid, and right low. So it has, so user number 1 has all the frequencies. So if we use this knob over here to go to user number 2, which is not loaded yet, if you want to load, you press this knob inside like that, and it's saying loading, and then it's already loaded. So user number 2 has a low. Yes, it has a low. It has a low, and it has these 1, 2. It has a low high. It has a low low. It has a right low and right high. So it has no mid. So if we put in some, if we add our volume from here, slide it from here, you are only able to hear there. I can hear. I'm not sure if you can be able to hear. It only has some very nice low frequencies, but no mid frequencies, because from this indicator, user number 2 has no mid frequencies. So let's try user number 3. User number 3 right over there. So user number 3 has only high frequencies. So if we load this one, we're not going to hear anything coming out of our amplifier, because we've only set up our cables coming from the mid and from the low. So user number 4, which has a very good low frequencies. This is my favorite actually. So we press the button in to load that. So user number 3 has high frequencies, and it has low frequencies as well. But remember, our cables are coming out from the mid and from the low. So even this one, if we pump up some volume, we are only able to hear, we are only able to hear the low frequencies, because we don't have the mid frequencies. So I'm waiting for some music to play. So this is quite complex, but if you follow step by step, it's not something hard. So from my point, I'm not sure if you can be able to hear that, but from my point, I can be able to hear some very nice bass coming from the sub speakers. As you can see, the indicators here, we have low frequencies and high frequencies. So mid frequencies, still we don't have any signal. So let me look for one that has maybe mid, and this one has mid as well. So it's called a rock. It's called a rock venue. So we can activate it like that. Okay, that's number 5. I put some volume. So that one has some mid. Okay, some mid. So we have a mid and low and still some high, but still I don't like the, well, the bass is not as bad, but the mid is not so good. So basically that is how you can be able to maneuver. It has so many preset programs up to number 50. Let me confirm. Yes, up to number 50. So you have 50 programs to choose from. All right. Now, before I finish this part 1 of this video, that's just a simple connection and simple operation, how you can be able to on the go just as be able to set up your cables and at least use it for the first time or the early days before you're able to maneuver into the complex settings of the drive rack. But something very important to note is that there is this company called DBX is a Harman. There's a company called Harman International. So Harman International, under that name is where we have the JBLs, the Crowns, I think the QSCs, the DBX, so many companies under that name. So many of those companies produce speakers. So you're going to notice like number 50 is clicking VRX 932. That is a model, I think, of a JBL speaker. So what happens with the drive racks? There is a preset setup or setting for most of those companies that I've just mentioned. So if you go to the JBLs, you can be able, for example, although this is for the next lesson, let me click wizard. This I'll explain next time. Then let me come to, yes, drive rack PA wizard. Then let me come to next. Stereo link. Let me come to next. So you see most of these that are indicated right over here. This is the JBL JRX 100. Then it's pointing to JRX 112 passive. So 112, that means it's a 12-inch. It's a single 12-inch monitor, and it's passive. So that's the JRX is there. The JBL model. If this is the speaker, if I specifically have this type of speaker, then I don't have to use a setup of any other. The DBX drive rack PA already has a specific setup for this particular speaker. So assuming this is your speaker, the JRX 112 monitor passive, you are going to leave it at that. Okay, so this drive rack is going to be set up already. It has an input setup already for that particular speaker, so it knows the watts of that speaker. Okay, so it will know the exact output to give out to your amplifier that is serving your particular speakers. So the models of these speakers are so many. If you scroll down, you're going to get that as JRX 125 passive. We have JBL still, it's called Sound Factor SF, that's a model 12M. There are so many. All these are different speakers. As I am scrolling, I'm hoping you can be able to see. We have the SR 473 2M. All these are different models of speakers. Okay, this is another company. That's an EV. It's called Elim I passive. That's a Mackie speaker. It's called S500 passive. So all these famous brands are considered in this drive rack, and you can be able to get their settings right over here without doing any kind of different setting. So if you have speakers that are not considered in the drive rack, there is a way to maneuver that, although that's for the next lesson. But let me just mention it very fast. You go all the way down to something called custom. Now custom is where you are able to set up your own speakers. Now you say you don't need any setup, the fixed setup from the drive rack, then you just set up your own thing. All right, so I'll stop there for today. So this one I'll also explain next time. So this thing, there's something called the RTA mic input. The RTA mic input will be able to help us next time when we'll be testing something called the feedbacks. All right, so there's a way you can be able to set this thing, but only with the help of this microphone, to be able to detect any feedbacks from whatever point they could be coming from, and you're going to kill all those high frequency. It has a band of around I think 12. We're able to do all the low 12 or the high frequency. So you kill them one by one, but that one is going to happen into our next lesson. So for today, we just finish there the simple setup, the cabling from the mixer to the drive rack to the amplifier, then program. So we've only covered the program where we've said there are up to 20 preset programs. So you just we've also said we can be able to know the specific frequencies that are in use. Also from the indicator right over here, we can be able to know the ones that are active from the level indicators. And that is it. So that was it for today. We shall cover the next lesson probably in a week or in 2 weeks time, and that is it. So remember, we are still here at Decibel. Today we've been working with Alex. Melissa has been a student and she is running away, has been a student, and that's it. So see you in our next video. Alex, tell people bye bye.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, it's called DECIBEL Audio. DECIBEL Audio Kenya.
Yeah.
All right.